In today's top stories, newly declassified documents reignite debate over JFK's assassination, Poland pushes for US nuclear weapons on its soil, and a shocking discovery at a cartel extermination site in Mexico. Plus, Chief Justice Roberts rejects Trump's impeachment demands, Israel launches a deadly new operation in Gaza, and the Democratic Party faces record low approval ratings. Stay tuned as we break down all the latest developments. The National Archives has released thousands of newly declassified documents related to the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. Among the most striking revelations is a claim from former CIA operative Gary Underhill, who believed a rogue faction within the agency was responsible for JFK's death. Underhill fled Washington the day after the assassination, warning friends that they were going to kill him. 6 months later, he was found dead from a gunshot wound to the head, officially ruled a suicide, despite being shot on the left side while being right-handed. The files also link the CIA to arms dealer Samuel George Cummings and his company, InterArms contradicting prior claims that he founded the firm independently. Notably, Underhill alleged that InterArms supplied weapons used in covert operations, including sales to Klein's Sporting Goods in Chicago, where Lee Harvey Oswald reportedly purchased the rifle used in JFK's assassination. Further revelations include previously redacted details on CIA surveillance tactics in Mexico City, new insights into discussions on assassinating Fidel Castro, and a report from the KGB claiming that Oswald was a poor shot during target practice in the USSR. Poland's president, Andrzej Duda, is again calling for the United States to deploy nuclear weapons on Polish soil, citing increased threats from Russia. Speaking in an interview, Duda framed the request as a defensive measure, arguing that nuclear sharing would strengthen NATO's deterrence capabilities. He pointed to Russia's decision to move tactical nuclear weapons into Belarus, Poland's neighbor, as justification. Duda also welcomed French President Emmanuel Macron's recent suggestion of extending France's nuclear umbrella to NATO allies. Meanwhile, Polish lawmakers have expressed interest in acquiring their own nuclear deterrent, with Prime Minister Donald Tusk emphasizing the need for Poland to stay competitive in a race for security. A volunteer group searching for missing persons in Mexico has uncovered what authorities now call an extermination site used by a powerful cartel. The group Guerreros Buscadores de Jalisco received an anonymous tip that led them to a ranch in Jalisco, where they discovered 3 underground crematoriums filled with human remains. Alongside the ovens, searchers found over 200 pairs of shoes, hundreds of clothing items, and bullet-riddled walls, evidence of torture and execution. Survivor testimonies suggest the site, known as the Little School of Terror, was used to train cartel recruits, some of whom were tricked into joining through fake job offers. Initiates were reportedly forced to fight each other, endure brutal endurance tests, and even execute fellow captives. Those who refused were allegedly shot and incinerated. Mexican authorities had previously raided the site last year, but failed to detect the hidden crematoriums. In response to public outrage, officials are now conducting a more thorough investigation. Chief Justice John Roberts has issued a rare public statement rejecting former President Donald Trump's demand to impeach U.S. District Judge James Boasberg. Trump had called for Boasberg's removal after the judge blocked his administration from using the Alien Enemies Act to deport Venezuelan migrants accused of gang affiliations. Roberts emphasized that impeachment is not an appropriate response to legal disagreements, reaffirming judicial independence. Despite this, some Republican lawmakers have backed Trump's calls, arguing that radical judges are obstructing his administration. Israel has launched a new ground offensive in Gaza, reestablishing control over the Netzarim corridor following airstrikes that killed over 400 people, according to Gaza's health ministry. The Israeli Defense Forces say the operation aims to expand a security buffer between northern and southern Gaza. The escalation follows accusations that Hamas rejected hostage negotiations, while Hamas blames Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu for violating previous ceasefire agreements. A UN aid worker was killed in an airstrike on a guest house in Deir al-Balah, sparking international condemnation. The UN claims the guest house had been targeted multiple times, while independent analysts say weapon fragments found at the scene match an Israeli tank projectile. In Israel, protests have erupted, with demonstrators demanding new elections and accusing Netanyahu's government of prioritizing military action over securing hostage releases. A new CNN poll shows that the Democratic Party's favorability has dropped to an all-time low, with 54% of Americans viewing the party unfavorably. The survey also indicates growing dissatisfaction among Democrats themselves, with over half believing their leadership is steering the party in the wrong direction. The Republican Party's approval remains unchanged at 36%, though its unfavorable ratings have also climbed. Analysts suggest the data reflects deepening political divides and shifting voter priorities. A federal judge has ruled that Elon Musk and the Department of Government Efficiency, known as DOGE likely, acted unconstitutionally in shutting down the U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID. The ruling blocks further action against USAID and raises new legal questions about Musk's authority within the government. The White House insists Musk serves only as an advisor, but the judge's decision suggests his role at DOGE may require Senate confirmation. The administration plans to appeal, calling the lawsuit an effort to undermine government efficiency. The Federal Reserve is expected to keep interest rates unchanged amid ongoing economic uncertainty. Fed Chair Jerome Powell stated that while the economy has shown signs of improvement, there is no immediate need for policy adjustments. Some analysts warn that rising unemployment could signal deeper economic risks ahead. SoftBank Group has announced a $6.5 billion acquisition of Ampere Computing, a leading silicon design company specializing in AI infrastructure. The deal is part of SoftBank's broader push into artificial intelligence, with CEO Masayoshi Son stating that breakthrough computing power is essential for the future of AI. Ampere will operate as a wholly owned subsidiary, but retain its brand and leadership. The acquisition is expected to close in late 2025 pending regulatory approval. President Donald Trump has sent a letter to Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, setting a 2-month deadline for a new nuclear agreement. If no deal is reached by mid-year, Trump warns that sanctions will be reinstated. Iranian officials have dismissed the deadline as a deceptive tactic, but confirmed they are reviewing the proposal. Trump has also emphasized that Iran must cease its support for the Houthis or face potential military action. President Trump is preparing to sign an executive order to dismantle the Department of Education, a long-standing conservative goal. The order directs Secretary of Education Linda McMahon to facilitate the agency's closure and return authority to individual states. While the executive order signals a clear shift, congressional approval will ultimately be required to formally abolish the department. That's all for tonight's news update. Thank you for joining us. We'll continue to monitor these stories and bring you the latest developments. Stay safe, stay informed, and have a good night. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update.